I got a request that I thought was pretty great from Kaljabi6. I hope I'm pronouncing your YouTube handle correctly, but it was for some expansion on a 18-minute tutorial I did, I think a couple years ago now, on Heaven 6, Standard 6, and Earth 6 Sinawalli. So it was like a long-form tutorial, and I was curious about bladed applications since the video was done with a double stick, as well as some empty hand applications. So I thought real quickly I'd knock out one just looking at the blades from just a basic perspective. I'll do the empty hand one later, but for blades today, I'm really just gonna focus on the double dagger. Effectively, man, the techniques are the same. That's the beauty of Kali, is whether you have a stick or a sword or a knife or a bottle or whatever you pick up to defend yourself, you're learning how to move through different planes with different styles of movement or different ways to move something that you've picked up. That really is, I think, the magic of Kali, a Filipino martial art, is it teaches you how to do everything at once. It's a very advanced learning method where things are taught in layers, but we can kind of isolate one or two things that might feel different or that you might want to consider when training with the dagger. Thing number one, I'm not an advocate for training with live blade, so I have dull training daggers with me. I'm using the metal one so that you can see them better in the light reflection on the screen. So basic Heaven 6 Sinawalli you may be familiar with is a chambered position weaving pattern with two sticks. Again, this could be with two swords as well, but we have a high 3-beat combination here on either side, where one hand comes out from the top, one from the bottom, and one from the top that becomes the bottom, and we repeat that action on the other side. This is often done with long sticks so that it's really hard to get in on somebody that's moving in that fashion. Standard 6, as it's called, is one high, one low, and one high. One high, one low, and one high motion. Same pattern otherwise, it's just the route where the lines are a little different. And then Earth 6 is everything pointed low towards the earth. So heaven is pointed to the heavens, the tips are pointed up. Earth, the tips are pointed to the earth. And then standard is just the basic high, low, high version that everybody seems to have. That's the standard. So with the knives, same deal, same way really. If I've got chambered here, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You can make these a little tighter, since a lot of the action with the knife is going to be a little more localized based on your targets and based on the fact that, one, these are small tools, they don't require a lot of room to move, and two, I don't want to overexpose my body based on the way I may move with a longer weapon. So you can make these tighter. Instead of here, you could bring them into the middle this way. Otherwise, same exact pattern. Usually you learn the double stick first for so much of Kali, because it then is an easier way to break that motion down and to kind of adjust it to the tool in your hand. So if we have basic tip up grip this way, that's Heaven 6. Through, out and back. Through, out and back. These out and back shots like that with a knife leave really nasty cuts, so they do like to see that kind of thing sometimes. Reverse grip, you could try as well, so that you have down, you could thrust that out and back, slash, and thrust. You could thrust, and thrust, and thrust that way as well. You could do one way and one the other, so that this is two different grips, slash, thrust, or slash, thrust. You get the idea. So try all those variations any way that you like. Same exact pattern, but with just a little bit of adjustment along the way. Standard 6, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might be thinking in terms of targeting then, something like here for the high line, here for the low line, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you don't have to think about the violent part of it as much as it is just getting adjusted to these ideas of, I move through a high and a low and high diagonal line this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Big things to be considerate of is, hey, if this did have an edge on it, how confident am I to be moving this way around my body? So sometimes they'll preach trying to keep the thumb against the body as you travel across. That keeps the back edge away from you. If you have a knife that doesn't have a back edge, that may be less of a concern, but still something you should have built some awareness around. 1, 2, see, this is a problem. one. So you have to be really conscious about where it is. So that's why I don't advocate live blade training, but I do advocate trying to develop awareness as if you have it, really trying to keep these things in mind and learn to reference different parts of your body, like your hip or your shoulder, in a safe way so they don't just go wherever they might. Third one, though, might be a little different for this reason. Because we're talking about blade awareness, sometimes when we have a low chamber, one, right away when we're going low, the back edge, if I had a double-sided knife here, boom, all of a sudden it seems like the back edge is in there. Or if I have to move it, it might wind up in this arm that's traveling because the shape of the body has changed to cut that low line. So a lot of times you'll be taught to chamber that one high instead of low. So if Heaven 6, for example, we got chambered underneath, here underneath. For the one on the bottom, for Earth 6, you might chamber on top. And then the same pattern will exist. When I did this one, I'm on my right side here. This is right, left, and right. But if I chamber high, same thing. Right, left, and right. See, it chambers high now. You would call that bottom, top, and bottom. Bottom, top, and bottom. Bottom tool, the top one, and the bottom one. Bottom, top, bottom, bottom, top, bottom, bottom, top, bottom, like that. As opposed to Heaven 6, which is top, bottom, top, top, bottom, top, etc. Now, last thing I would say would be regarding longer edged weapons like the sword or a machete or something. Again, it's the same movement as the stick. That's usually the case for Filipino martial art, and that's usually why you learn the stick. But sometimes you'll notice differences in movement or impact styles, meaning when I hit with a stick, there's a kind of thud or crack that happens. It's hard to always pull fluidly through when you're hitting something like that. The stick wants to bounce out or drop down when it runs into something. So a lot of times you'll see those kind of bounce through the center this way, bang, 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 as if you're banging a drum, right? You wouldn't want to slash through the drum, you'd cut the thing open. So you kind of bounce in a more percussive manner with the stick, while with the edged weapon, you slash right through that thing, right? Just like a hot knife through butter. So this might feel more, or at least fluid in a different way. Maybe not more fluid, but it's gonna have these unbroken lines where you're focused more on slashing than hitting. So that's it, that's my take. I hope that's helpful. Basic Heaven Standard Earth 6 Sinawalli patterns will kind of teach you, boy, a heck of a lot about the whole art in general. But those little minor adjustments, really the best thing to do if you're curious about, well, how do I apply this to an improvised weapon? Pick it up and try it out. So every different way you think of, if I went like this, well, what if I went like this? What if I went like this? You know, what if I used a different side of it? What if the timing or the rhythm changed? All you need is one idea and then try it a bunch of different ways. That's the nature of how Kali works. That's often really the nature of how we're taught or how we learn it. And I think that's the beauty, that's the fun, and that's the, I don't know, applicability of it as well. It's just up to your time, your own creativity. So enjoy every second of it, and let me know what you come up with. Thanks for watching.